All right, so we're diving into Boostaro today.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a supplement
Okay.
with some pretty bold claims about male enhancement.
It's interesting.
You've sent over a ton of sources.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's quite a mix.
Okay.
We've got YouTube reviews, the official website,
Yeah.
even some emails that I have to say get a little intense.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're going to try to separate the hype from reality here.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, great.
Sounds like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
it's a fascinating one, isn't it?
It is.
This particular supplement
Yeah.
seems to be hitting a nerve.
Absolutely.
Judging by, well,
all this stuff.
the sheer volume of material you've gathered.
I know, right?
Yeah. And you're right.
Yeah.
The tone across these different sources.
Yeah.
It really runs the gamut.
Totally.
It does.
But the core promise
Okay.
seems pretty consistent
All right.
across the board.
So Boostaro claims to tackle erectile dysfunction
Okay.
by addressing what it calls the root cause.
Interesting.
Not just a temporary fix, but a long-term solution.
Okay.
And all with natural ingredients.
Natural ingredients.
Which is a big claim
Sure.
in a world full of little blue pill.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And that focus on natural
Yeah.
is a pretty smart marketing angle.
Totally.
I think a lot of men are hesitant
Yeah.
about pharmaceuticals. Maybe they're concerned about side effects
Sure.
or just prefer a more holistic approach.
Right.
Boostaro is tapping right into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They also really emphasize that it's
Okay.
backed by science and rave reviews.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk about studies, Nobel Prize winners,
Interesting.
but the details
Details are.
kind of fuzzy.
That's a classic tactic.
Yeah.
And it's where a healthy dose of skepticism comes in handy. You know, it's easy to drop impressive-sounding names,
Totally.
allude to research, without actually providing any concrete evidence.
Yeah.
Remember, extraordinary claims
Yeah.
require extraordinary evidence.
Right.
If a supplement
Yeah.
genuinely offered a miracle cure,
Right.
wouldn't we be hearing about it
Yeah.
more than just enthusiastic YouTube reviewers?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of those reviewers,
Oh, yeah.
they seem pretty convinced.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk about increased energy, better performance, even improved heart health.
Interesting.
It's like a
package deal.
Yeah, it's quite the package deal.
Yeah.
Testimonials can be very persuasive,
Yeah.
but they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
We need to remember that they're often carefully selected,
Right.
showcasing
Yeah.
the most positive experiences.
Sure.
What we don't see
Right.
are the folks who
Yeah.
might not have had.
Same results.
Makes sense.
Plus, personal experiences are subjective.
Right.
And it's hard to separate genuine benefits from the placebo effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So let's move beyond the individual stories
Sure.
and look at the marketing itself.
Right.
The website's interesting.
Yeah.
Terms like miracle shake and support sexual performance naturally
Wow.
really jump out.
Yeah.
They seem to be going for a more direct approach there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're widening the net beyond
Right.
just erectile dysfunction by mentioning benefits like increased energy,
Yeah.
heart health.
Right.
They're potentially appealing to
Yeah.
a broader audience, men who are concerned about overall vitality and well-being.
Interesting.
Yeah, not just their performance in the bedroom.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
And then there are.
those emails.
Oh, those
It's like they flipped the switch.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
And went from friendly testimonials to almost alarmist language.
Wow.
Comparisons to Viagra. Hints of a conspiracy to suppress this cure.
Wow.
It's a pretty dramatic shift in tone.
It seems like they're trying to tap into a sense of urgency,
Right.
maybe even a bit of paranoia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tactic that can work, especially if they're targeting men who feel they've tried everything else
Yeah.
and are desperate for a solution.
Right.
That vulnerability can make them more susceptible to bolder,
Yeah.
even aggressive claims.
Okay, so the marketing is definitely playing a role.
Yeah.
But what about the actual ingredients?
Ah, yes, the ingredients.
Can they deliver
matter. Yeah, can they deliver?
on these promises?
That's the question.
The sources mention
Okay.
L-citrulline, pine bark extract, vitamin C, K2,
Okay.
and a bunch of others.
Bunch of others.
Are these
Are these what?
miracle workers in disguise?
Well, not quite miracle workers.
Okay.
But some of these ingredients do have interesting properties. For
Okay.
example, that L-citrulline you mentioned is known to improve blood flow,
Okay.
which directly supports Boostaro's claim of healthier erections.
All right.
Pine bark extract
Okay.
is also linked to better blood flow.
Yeah.
And even increased nitric oxide production,
Right.
which is key for,
Yeah. Okay, so there's at least some scientific basis for those particular claims. But what about the other ingredients?
The other ingredients.
They seem like things you'd find in any multivitamin.
You're right.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty standard.
Okay.
Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant, important for overall health.
Sure.
Including vascular health. L-lysine and L-proline are amino acids involved in collagen production.
Okay.
Which is crucial
for
healthy arteries.
Okay, and magnesium.
Magnesium.
Isn't that just for like leg cramps?
Magnesium is involved in a lot more than just leg cramps.
Oh, really?
It plays a role in regulating blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
And muscle function,
both
of which can indirectly impact blood flow.
Interesting.
As for CoQ10 and vitamin K2, they're often touted for their heart health benefits. CoQ10 helps with cellular energy production, and vitamin K2 is involved in calcium metabolism, potentially impacting artery health.
So we've got this mix of ingredients that individually have some potential benefits. Especially when it comes to blood flow. But does that automatically mean
what?
That Boostaro is the miracle cure?
Oh.
It claims to be.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
We need to remember that just because individual ingredients have some scientific backing doesn't mean it works synergistically in a specific blend. The dosage and formulation are crucial.
Right.
And unfortunately, the sources you've provided don't offer much detail on those aspects.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right, that makes sense. And even if those ingredients could contribute to better blood flow and overall health, everyone's body is different and results can vary widely.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to be cautious about those glowing testimonials. They don't represent the experience of everyone who tries Boostaro.
Okay.
It's like judging a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Based on a single 5-star review.
Right.
You need more data points to get a clear picture.
Yeah. So while the ingredients aren't completely outlandish, the marketing, especially those emails, seems to be pushing the boundaries.
The boundaries of
believability.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's important to separate the science from the marketing hype.
Right.
While Boostaro might contain ingredients that offer potential benefits.
Sure.
The aggressive tactics raise a red flag.
Okay.
It's that old adage.
Oh, yeah.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
It probably is.
Right. Hey.
But hey.
They do offer that money-back guarantee.
Oh, yeah. The money-back guarantee.
Right.
Right.
So what's the harm in trying?
Well, guarantees can provide a sense of security.
Sure.
And might encourage people to try a product.
Right.
However.
There's always a however.
Of course. Guarantees can also be a clever marketing ploy to boost sales. It's crucial to look beyond the surface and read the fine print.
Right.
What are the conditions for getting a refund?
Sure.
How long is the guarantee valid?
Okay.
These details are often buried in the terms and conditions.
The terms and conditions.
Yeah.
It's like a safety net with a bunch of tiny holes in it.
Exactly.
You might think you're covered, but you need to know what hoops to jump through.
Yeah. What hoops to jump through.
To actually use it.
Precisely.
Right.
Let's delve into those details and see what we can uncover about those money-back guarantees.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be a big selling point for Boostaro.
That sounds like a perfect place to pick up in part 2.
Sounds good.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
From claims to ingredients to marketing tactics.
Yeah.
It's clear there's a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
When it comes to Boostaro.
A lot to unpack. You know, as we unpack these sources.
It's becoming clear that Boostaro's marketing really plays on those anxieties and insecurities a lot of men face when it comes to sexual performance.
Yeah.
Those emails.
Yeah, those emails.
Especially seem to prey on that fear, positioning Boostaro as this almost magical solution.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You do.
Even those YouTube reviewers, while they seem sincere, are contributing to that narrative.
In what way?
By focusing solely on the positive.
Ah, okay.
It creates this echo chamber.
Right.
Where the potential downsides or alternative viewpoints get drowned out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes it hard for someone to get a balanced perspective.
Right.
It's like trying to make a decision based on a highlight reel. You're only seeing the best moments.
Okay.
Not the whole picture.
So if someone is listening to this, thinking about trying Boostaro.
What's the most important takeaway?
Ooh. That's a good question.
How do they cut through all the noise?
Yeah, how do they cut through all that noise?
Make an informed decision.
It boils down to this.
Right.
Be a critical thinker.
Right.
We've seen that Boostaro has a mix of ingredients.
Yeah.
Some with potential benefits for blood flow and overall health.
Right.
But there's a big gap between that and claiming to cure erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
The science just isn't there to support that claim.
And don't forget that aggressive marketing.
Oh, yeah, that aggressive marketing.
It's a big red flag.
It is a red flag.
When a company seems more focused on pushing emotional buttons than providing solid evidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before jumping on the Boostaro bandwagon, there are a few key steps to take.
All right, I'm listening.
First and foremost, talk to your doctor.
Talk to your doctor.
They can assess your individual situation, determine if erectile dysfunction is a concern, and rule out any underlying medical conditions.
So because ED can be a symptom of something else entirely.
Exactly.
Right. Popping a supplement might not be addressing the root cause at all.
You're exactly right.
Great.
Plus, your doctor can advise you on potential interactions between Boostaro and any medications you might be taking.
Right.
Safety should always come first.
Absolutely.
Always.
Speaking of safety.
Oh, yeah, safety.
What about those money-back guarantees?
Those money-back guarantees.
We were just talking about how they can be a bit misleading.
Guarantees are tricky.
Okay.
They can offer a sense of security, which is why companies love to tout them.
Right.
But often
there are
a lot of strings attached.
Okay.
You might have to jump through hoops to get a refund, or the guarantee might only be valid
for
short period.
So it's more like a marketing tactic than a genuine safety net.
In many cases.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always read the fine print before making a purchase. Look for the detail.
The details on
how to claim a refund, what the time limits are, and what conditions apply.
So we've talked about consulting a doctor and scrutinizing those guarantees. What else should people keep in mind as they navigate the world of supplements?
Oh, that's a great question.
It feels like there's a new miracle cure popping up every week.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
This conversation about Boostaro really applies to any supplement or health product that makes bold claims.
Right.
It's about developing those critical thinking skills. And not just taking things at face value.
Be your own advocate.
Be your own advocate.
Yeah.
If something feels off or too good to be true, trust your gut.
Okay, good advice.
Intuition is a powerful tool.
Okay.
Especially when combined with solid information.
Right.
Now, I know we've focused a lot on the skepticism side of things.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean...
Doesn't mean what?
That all supplements are bad.
Okay.
Or that there's no place for them in a healthy lifestyle.
That's an important distinction.
It is an important distinction.
So how can someone sort through the noise and figure out which supplements are worth considering?
It comes back to research.
Research.
Go beyond. The flashy marketing and testimonials.
Okay.
Look for independent studies published in reputable scientific journals.
Okay.
Those are the gold standard for evidence-based information.
Okay.
And be wary of studies.
Be wary of?
Studies funded by the company selling the product.
Right.
There's potential for bias there.
So if a company is relying more on
what?
Catchy slogans and celebrity endorsements than solid science, that's a red flag.
Exactly. They should be able to back up their claims with legitimate research. And if those studies don't exist...
then...
Well, that speaks volumes.
Okay.
It might be time to move on.
Move on to
a product that's more transparent and grounded in science.
So to sum it up...
Okay, let's sum it up.
Talk to your doctor. Scrutinize those guarantees.
Yes.
Do your research, and don't be afraid to be a little skeptical.
Well said.
Yeah.
And remember
what?
This isn't just about Boostaro.
Right.
It's about becoming
a
savvy consumer in a world that's constantly trying to sell you something.
Yeah, that's true.
Your health is your most valuable asset.
Okay.
Protect it.
By making informed decisions.
I love that knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Especially when it comes to our well-being.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up part 2, I want to touch on something we briefly mentioned earlier.
Right.
The placebo effect.
Ah, the placebo effect.
Can you explain what that is?
I can, and how it might play a role in someone's experience with a supplement, like Boostaro.
Okay.
The placebo effect is a fascinating phenomenon.
Okay.
It's basically the idea that our beliefs and expectations can have a real impact.
A real impact.
On our physical experiences.
Interesting.
So even if a supplement doesn't have a direct physiological effect, someone might feel better.
Okay.
Simply because they believe it's working.
Okay.
Their mind is influencing their body.
It shows like the power of positive thinking. It is like the power of positive thinking.
But with a scientific twist.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not just about positive thinking.
Right.
It's about the power of our expectations.
Okay.
If you're convinced a supplement is going to boost your energy or improve your performance, you might actually experience those benefits.
Okay.
Even if the supplement itself is essentially inert.
That's wild.
It is pretty wild.
So how do we separate
the
placebo effect from a genuine physiological response?
That's a good question.
Is it even possible?
That's where well-designed scientific studies come in.
Okay.
Researchers use things like control groups.
Okay.
And blinding. To try to isolate the true effects of a treatment from the placebo effect.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure.
What do you mean by
what?
Control groups and blinding?
Okay, so a control group is a group of participants
who receive a placebo, a fake treatment that looks like the real thing, but doesn't contain any active ingredients. By comparing the control group to the group receiving the actual treatment.
Right.
Researchers can see if the treatment has effects beyond what can be attributed
to the
placebo effect.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So what about blinding?
Blinding.
What's that all about?
Blinding means keeping the participants and sometimes even the researchers
too
in the dark about who is receiving the real treatment and who is getting the placebo.
Interesting.
This helps prevent bias
and
ensures that the results are more reliable.
So it's like a double-blind experiment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Double-blind studies are the gold standard for medical research.
Gotcha.
Because they help minimize
the influence of expectations, biases.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
So when we're
evaluating
those studies on supplements, like Boostaro, we need to look for double-blind placebo-controlled trials.
Exactly.
To get the most accurate picture.
Precisely.
Okay.
Those types of studies are more likely to provide reliable insights into the true effectiveness of a supplement.
Gotcha.
Separating the hype from the reality.
Okay, so we've talked about the science, the marketing, and even the placebo effects. But there's one more piece of the puzzle.
One more piece.
I want to explore.
Okay.
The emotional aspect.
Ah, the emotional aspect.
Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Can be a sensitive topic.
It can be a sensitive topic.
For men.
Yeah.
And it's easy to see how those feelings of vulnerability could be exploited.
Exploited by
companies pushing quick fixes and miracle cures.
Right.
What advice do you have?
What advice do I have
for someone struggling with these issues? Beyond the practical steps we've already discussed.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
It's crucial to remember
what?
That you're not alone.
Right.
Millions of men experience erectile dysfunction. And it's often linked to underlying health conditions or lifestyle factors. Talking to your doctor is the first step. Not just to explore treatment options, but also to address any emotional distress or anxiety you might be feeling.
It's about normalizing the conversation?
It is about normalizing the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Taking away the stigma and shame that often surround these issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no shame in seeking help.
Right.
Or admitting you're struggling. It's a sign of strength.
Not weakness.
And sometimes just talking about it can be incredibly therapeutic.
Absolutely.
Sharing your concerns.
Sharing your concerns with
a trusted healthcare professional.
Critical.
Or even a therapist.
Yeah.
Can help you process those emotions and develop coping mechanisms.
We've covered a lot of ground in this episode.
We have.
From the science behind Boostaro's ingredients to the psychological tactics used in its marketing. We've really dug deep into the complexities of this supplement and the broader issues it raises.
Yeah, the broader issues.
About navigating the world of health and wellness.
And we've empowered you, the listener, with the knowledge and tools to make informed decisions about your own health journey.
Before we move on to part 3, we'll explore some final thoughts and takeaways.
Sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
For joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Into the world of Boostaro.
It has.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has been fascinating.
And I hope you've gained some valuable insights along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Boostaro.
All right.
We've dissected the claims.
Yeah.
Scrutinized the science.
We have.
And even explored the psychology behind the marketing.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this conversation.
Okay.
What are some of the most important things?
Some of the most important things.
To keep in mind.
Well, I think it all comes back to this. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
The more we understand about a product, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions.
Right.
And that applies to everything.
Yeah.
Not just supplements like Boostaro.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's easy to get swept up in the marketing hype.
It is.
Especially when it targets something as personal and sensitive as sexual performance.
Absolutely.
But we have to be willing to dig deeper.
Yes.
Ask questions and demand evidence.
Exactly.
And sometimes
that
means being willing to challenge the status quo.
Interesting.
Just because something is popular or heavily advertised doesn't mean it's effective or even safe.
It's about becoming a savvy consumer, a health detective.
Oh, I like that, a health detective.
If you will.
We need to be willing to look beyond the flashy packaging, the catchy slogans, and really scrutinize the information.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
We need to be health detectives.
Right.
Always on the lookout for clues, willing to question assumptions.
So what are some of the key questions?
Okay, some key questions.
We should be asking ourselves when we're evaluating a product.
A product like
Boostaro or any supplement for that matter.
First and foremost,
what does the science say?
What does the science say?
Are there independent peer-reviewed studies that support the claims being made?
Those are great points.
Yeah.
We can't just rely on anecdotal evidence or testimonials, no matter how compelling they might seem.
Exactly.
We need that.
We need that.
Solid scientific foundation.
Absolutely.
And even if there is some scientific evidence, it's important to look at the dosage and formulation. Just because an ingredient has potential benefits in isolation doesn't mean it will work the same way.
It might not.
When combined with other ingredients. Or taken in a specific form.
The context matters.
The context matters.
And speaking of context.
Yes.
We need to consider the marketing tactics being used. Are they appealing to our emotions, our fears, or our insecurities?
Are they making promises that seem too good to be true?
Those are all red flags.
They are red flags.
If a company's relying heavily on emotional manipulation or exaggerated claims, it's a sign that they might not have the substance to back it up.
It's like they're trying to distract us with smoke and mirrors instead of giving us the real deal.
And finally,
we need to
be realistic about our own expectations.
Yeah, our own expectations.
No supplement is a magic bullet. And there's no quick fix.
No quick fix.
For complex health issues.
It's about making sustainable lifestyle changes. Not just looking for a quick fix.
Exactly.
It's about taking a holistic approach to our health. Addressing the root causes of our concerns. And not just masking the symptoms.
And sometimes that means accepting
that.
That there isn't a simple solution. And that we need to be
steady.
patient and persistent in our effort.
Absolutely.
And remember, it's okay to ask for help.
It is okay to ask for help.
Talking to your doctor, a therapist, or even a trusted friend or family member can provide support and guidance.
It can.
As you navigate these challenges.
We often try to go it alone.
We do.
But there's strength in reaching out and connecting with others.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And sometimes just having someone to talk to, someone who understands what you're going through,
absolutely,
can make all the difference.
It can.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by how much ground we've covered.
We have covered a lot of ground.
We started with a specific supplement, Boostaro.
Right.
But this conversation has really expanded.
In what way?
Into a broader exploration of critical thinking, informed decision-making, and the importance of being proactive.
Being proactive about our
health.
That's the beauty of these deep dives.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
We start with a specific topic, but we always end up uncovering these larger themes and connections.
It's like those choose-your-own-adventure books.
Oh, yeah.
We used to read as kids.
I remember those.
You might start on one path, but you always end up discovering new worlds and possibilities along the way.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Okay.
Keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning and keep those health detective skills sharp. You never know what amazing discoveries you might make along the way.
That's fantastic advice.
Thank you.
And thank you as always.
Oh, you're welcome.
For joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure exploring these topics with you.
It has.
And sharing these insights with our listeners.
The pleasure is all mine.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay informed.
Stay informed.
And stay healthy.
And stay healthy.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
On the deep dive.
We appreciate you.
We'll be back soon.
We will.
With another fascinating topic to explore.
Sounds good.
Until then.
Keep
learning. Keep growing.
Keep learning. Keep growing.
And keep diving deep.